A good thing.
Okay.
I think I've seen you on the Firehouse.
Yeah.
Dick, how are you?
I'm good. How y'all?
Doing okay. You got my response about
I
the.
did.
So we'll have Warren go over that today.
All right, you want me to let everyone in now, Michael?
Yeah, it's time. I'm still trying to find that quote.
Greetings, everyone.
Hi, Peter. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
I'm
Hi,
good.
Peter.
Hi,
How are you?
good. Who's speaking?
Me, Peter, me.
Oh, hi, there we go. Hi, Vicky. There we
Hi,
go.
Steve. How are you?
Hello.
Did you see the
Excuse me.
response we got from Warren of your question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
I haven't looked up those statutes that he mentioned in there. Yeah, the sections he mentioned. But he answered the question at least. Okay. Welcome, Warren. Hi, Sarah. How am I coming in loud and clear?
Yeah.
So, Tricia, is this everyone now
I mean,
so far?
I don't know exactly who's coming in terms of the public.
Right, but there's no one else in the waiting room now.
Oh, sorry, no.
All right, so yeah, it's hard to do this with the Zoom. If we could, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like we have about 5 people from the public.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 or 5 I'm seeing. Yeah, 5.
Okay, what time is it now? Is it? Oh, yes. All right, I'm going to call the January Pine Plains Planning Board meeting to order. All right, just give me a second here. I have to set up something for this public hearing here. The first thing up on our agenda is the Willow Roots public hearing. Oh, actually, before we go into that, I just wanted to go over the new one. We have one new person on the board with the reorganization, and that's Ethan, and he's now the first alternate, and we'll be learning and listening tonight. And Peter is now on the board as a full member, and we welcome and really appreciate Peter sticking with us, and also appreciate JL Hoffman returning to be an alternate. And let me see. So we are starting. We're gonna start this public hearing in a minute. I just want to say that obviously we're going to keep things civil, and we're going to, any member of the public will address the board, and you'll have your say of comments. We're going to limit the comments to 5 minutes per person, and we will listen to the comments. The board may or may not ask a question of you, but this is, I just want to remind the public that this is not a dialogue. It's opportunity for you to say what you have to say about the application, and we will listen. There's also been many letters upon letters that have come in on both sides of this application, either for or against, or just expressing concern about it. And those letters will be put into the record, and they'll eventually be available through the Dropbox link once this meeting's over. Well, sometime in the next 10 days. Okay, so I would like, do I need a motion, Warren, to start the public hearing, or just gavel it in?
I just gavel in. Oh, no, you have to have a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on the Willow Roots application?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Let us show that the motion to open the public hearing was unanimous. All right, so I don't know, we don't really have, I guess I'll just start picking people. Let's I don't know who, iPad 3, you come up first on my screen. So if you could, Tricia, if you can unmute them, and I guess just state your name and tell us what you have to say about this application. I don't know if you have to unmute yourself also.
Okay,
Is that better?
Oh, there you go. Now we can hear you.
Great.
thank you.
Beginning the timer now.
Okay, it's Cynthia O'Brien and John Molinaro of 2 Carla Terrace.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
And where are we starting?
Well, this is your opportunity to make comments about the application. This
Okay,
is a public hearing.
okay.
first, did you receive our letter? We didn't get a verification of that.
Yes.
We did
Yes.
receive a letter from you, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
just want to make sure we did not get a verification. So the first issue, I think, is the traffic, which is our concern mainly, with the volume and also the unsafety situation that we see and witness. With our letter, we sent some photos. The traffic volume seems to increase. We just don't understand why that should go through Carla Terrace. As we stated in our letter, there are many other concerns which obviously concern the board with a lot of the zoning issues. So that's definitely a concern of ours. This whole procedure seems a little messy and not quite understanding it. So I think everything we got to really say is in the letter, which I'm sure you all read or will read. Photos tell the picture. And I don't know what more to say in our letter, really. You have anything to add?
To add is, Willow Roots does provide a service and we appreciate that fact, but, impacting the neighborhood and our neighborhood shouldn't be our burden. Okay, we totally support them. We donate to various places when we can, and we do that on a regular basis. But, you know, for Willow Roots to impact Carla Terrace, I think is a bit much. And that's that. I at this point,
We basically said what we have to say in our letter, which is concerning the board. You seem to be the most important people to hear, so it's in the letter. Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you. And like, as I said, that letter will be entered into the record, and it has already gone out to all the board members to look at. And thank you for your participation
Thanks.
and for that very thorough letter you sent.
Thank you.
Does any of the members have any questions or comments we want to direct to them, or are we moving on to the next person? No. Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Vicky.
sorry, I just live on the other side I live on West Church Street. How long
Yes.
have you lived in Willow Roots?
We don't live in
I
it.
mean, not how long have you lived on Carla Terrace? I'm sorry.
That's right. It was
I was
stated in a
reading
letter.
something here, so,
It was stated in a letter, May 2018, we moved here.
okay. Well, we had so many letters.
I understand. I'm sure you did.
So I just trying to figure out what letter, you know,
Yeah, we're John
I
and
can't
Mulhern.
find it in my stack at the moment, so.
I could certainly get you a copy if you needed one.
No, I have it. I just,
Okay.
like I said, there's so many. Okay, thank you.
There are a lot of things to address there, and I really hope that the town addresses each and every one of them and considers, you know, what was said and what's in front of them.
Okay, all right.
That's it. No other questions?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Trisha, can we, I guess, mute them, and then we'll get the next person. On my screen, the next person up is, oh, I see, so Mr. Janoff, is it? It says Barbara, but obviously, if you can unmute your, Trisha, can you please unmute him? And sir, you might have to unmute yourself also, I'm not sure. There we go.
Is that good?
All right, you have
Can you
5
hear
minutes.
me? Yeah, my name is David Birch. My wife's name is Barbara Janoff. That's,
Oh, okay. So you're for the next application.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, move on.
We'll move on and get back to you later. All
Okay.
right. Next up on my screen is Sheila Jameson. If we can unmute her, Trisha.
Yeah, I think they can just unmute themselves.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
No worries.
So Sheila, if you unmute your, there you go.
I did hit the button, yes.
Okay.
I would first say you've got my letters, so I'm sure you've read them. And you've said you have got a lot of letters, but let's face it, the letters that you get from people on Carla Terrace and to the left and right of the Ziases should be at the top of your pile. We are residential, they are commercial. Mr. Zayas never chose to drive through here until he started this business, which was a year ago. I think that really does say a lot. And if you understand my description of the business and the size of the parcel, the traffic that is on both sides of the business is really inappropriate for in the middle of town, and it really is a burden on us. To say that the traffic is 2 hours on one day is just not correct. Has it slowed during the winter? Sure, but all summer deliveries were coming in from our side. It shouldn't be dumped into our dead end road. This is a dead end road. What comes in at Pioneer goes out at Pioneer. And I'm sure you've read that in my letters before. So if you've read my letters, and I'm sure you have, you're responsible people. I want to also say about the other letters, I am totally supportive of a business such as that. As a matter of fact, I support my own in my own town of Ancramdale, and I have done more food drives and whatever in this town via being at the high school. The issue for me is that we are part of somebody's business plan. And I think when you look at his business plan, he shouldn't be relying on us, him coming in the backside of a dead-end road that he never used since he bought the property until he started this building business. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell. You'll do what you do. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your service.
Thank you, Sheila. Can you just clarify again, just for the board? So you were saying you live in Ancram. What is your relationship?
I own this house here,
Mhm.
and I've lived here for 5 years, taking care of my aunt Arlene Brower, which a lot of you know. She just died 2 months ago. I stay here 2 to 3 nights a week and stay home the other nights. I've been involved with this household for a very, very long time and know its history. And I've also been on Mr. Zayas's property many, many times completely. He was my son's scoutmaster. We did lots of things over on that property. Any other questions for me from any of the board members regarding anything that I've said?
Well, as you've said, you did send some thorough letters that we've all looked at, and we appreciate it. Anyone have any questions or comments for Sheila?
I'll say one more thing if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
I really think as planning boards, you need to look at the business, how it operates, how it affects its surroundings, and you need to make your decisions based on the rules of the road on your side. I certainly don't know them. And we need to not get caught up in the emotion of what this is. It's not about what it is, it's what it's doing to this side of 23 North Main. I mean, not 23 North Main, I'm coming from 23 North Main. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Okay, we move on. Perfect timing. We'll move on to the next person. If you could mute her, please, Tricia. The next person is, I guess, D.E. Ratchford. If you could unmute yourself and tell us who you are.
I'm Debbie Ratchford. I live at 2915 Church Street. But I'm just here to watch what's happening. Okay, I don't have anything really to say about it.
All right, thank you. Also be advised, you can always watch all our meetings live on YouTube also.
She also got Debbie, you got a letter, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
did. Yep.
Right. She's bordering
I see.
the property.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's a public hearing. Everyone's welcome. Next, so we'll move to, is Campbell a member of the public looking to speak?
Hi there. Yep. My name's Genesis Campbell and my husband's here, Chris Campbell. We live at 1 Carla Terrace. So we also sent a letter in. I'm sure you guys, like you said, got a lot of letters. We live right at the end of the road. And we live here with our 2 small children. We moved in 5 years ago and we obviously bought our house based on the fact that it is a dead end road and that we wanted to raise our family on a dead end road. We both come from the center of town. We're Pine Plains lifers. We've been here, graduated from Pine Plains. I'm a teacher at Pine Plains. And our main concern is really the safety, the fact that our road was not built for, nor should ever have a multitude of cars on it at any one time. For instance, today the town highway department came here to cut back some trees and their entire truck took up the entire road. You couldn't get in or out at the time. So mainly our concern is just the safety and the flow of traffic. Sheila had said that it really isn't for 2 hours a day. She's correct. There's a much more heavy flow of traffic since the Ziases have been functioning with Willow Roots. It's really not a matter of what the Ziases are doing. We can all attest to the fact that what they're doing is amazing. Nelson knows that I feel that way. I work with Nelson. But it's really more of a fact here that this is about convenience, and the convenience is now taking away from the people who live on a dead-end road. We were always under the impression that we would be on a dead-end road. No one ever thought we'd be in this situation. So we're really just, we're concerned about the safety. There's no speed limit there's no speed limit sign. There's no slow children at play sign. There's no speed bumps. There's nothing that marks that this is a 300-foot road that's 18 feet wide. So that's really our main concern, and the factor that, they are doing their distribution time right smack dab in the middle of your Saturday. So while we're not outside playing right now, we like to enjoy our yards on Saturdays with our children. And while there are cars constantly flowing for several hours on Saturdays, it just doesn't seem like that should be a burden that we should have to bear as the residents that live on this road. Thank you.
I have a question. So you were saying there was other hours. You're saying it's just more than that on Saturday? You're saying there's other days also?
Well, we've never really been told before about when distribution time will be. The only way we know when it is because they post it on Facebook. None of the residents here have ever been made aware of distribution times. We've never been reached out to before. So we find out through Facebook just like everybody else does. And it says a 1 to 2 hour time frame, but sometimes it's more than the 2 hours. And then other times they have a flow of traffic coming through here with their volunteers who leave and exit through Carla Terrace. And they also have deliveries that come through here. I know that in a previous meeting or maybe something else, I know Nelson had said that they limit deliveries and try to ask them to come to North Main, but we've all witnessed people coming through here. They park at the end of Carla Terrace, which has a nice little cul-de-sac, and they park at the end and they walk through there. So there's definitely more cars on a road than just the 7 houses that are here. Nelson and Lisa also use our road as their own personal driveway, an extension of, and so it's definitely more traffic than just the actual residents of Carla Terrace.
When you say deliveries, are you talking about personal vehicles or?
Yes, personal vehicles, yes.
Does anyone else have any questions? All right, well thank you very much for coming to the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak.
Of course, it's a duty. Next person. Is Steve Shunk. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Are you looking to speak, sir?
Yeah, I'm Father Steve Shunk. I'm the priest in charge at Regeneration, and I'm just here to support Nelson and Lisa in their project, their efforts to distribute food to the community. And again, we've been longtime supporters of them because we felt that the needs of the community were addressed organically and grew up out of a need, and it wasn't a top-down imposition, but a growth position for the community. So my comments, I don't live in Pine Plains. I'm only the again, the priest in charge at Church of the Regeneration, and we really are very enthusiastic supporters of Willow Roots, and they're I think, a great mission for food in the community. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I hope everybody can reach a way that we can continue to serve the community. And that's it.
Thank you. Does anyone members have any questions for him? All right. Well, Father, thank you for coming, and appreciate your comments. Okay, all right. So this, I don't know if this person can even speak. It's got, does this mean it's muted or not? It's a different symbol. We'll say Linda Wisdo. Are you able to unmute yourself? It's got like a phone with an X through it. I don't know if that means there's no audio. We are not hearing you if you are speaking. All right, so Linda, if you can hear us, it doesn't look like you have audio connection. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. Can you hear us?
Are you hearing me?
Now we hear you.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello? Hi, yes, my name is Linda Wisdo, and I live at 8 Carla Terrace. My driveway is kitty corner to the driveway in question. And I've lived here at Carla Terrace since 1995 for about 26 years. And when I first moved here, it was a dead end, unlike it is now. So I've been here all this time watching the loss of the dead end. When I came, there was no driveway at the end. The snowplow would push all the snow right to the end of the road. My kids would sleigh ride down the hill. It was all good fun and games. I know things change. I did feel badly to lose the dead end. I see the snowplow struggling to see where to put the snow. All that aside, I think it's very important that everyone on the board know that all of us on Carla Terrace completely support Willow Roots and the efforts made by Nelson and Lisa and all the volunteers to feed the community. Again, like everyone else, I did send in a letter. I just think it's a bit much for a dead end to have that kind of traffic going back and forth. When I came here, I had 2 5-year-old sons who were climbing that snow hill, playing out in the road. And when a person moves onto a dead end, you move there for a reason. Most of us do. I know in the last meeting, people were comparing Carla Terrace to Myrtle with the school traffic, comparing it to Pine Street with the church traffic. But that's not a fair comparison. Those roads were never dead ends. Like the Campbells, like the folks across the street from me. We come here because we say it's a dead end. I grew up on a dead end. So this is what I was hoping for when I came here. My sons are grown. They haven't been playing on the snow pile at the end of the road too much at 30 years old. But I think it's important to recognize the concerns and needs of everyone in the area, including Willow Roots. I had some suggestions in my letter. I know one day when I was talking to Lisa, I had said, you know, there's another food pantry in Pine Plains. What if you guys combined efforts and then you'd have a full parking lot for everyone who's coming to the food pantry? Or I see that there's a lot of empty offices. There's even restaurant space. Renting something like that, you'd have room to grow everything, grow your storage, you have more room for traffic, and then you don't have to worry about the dead end, the neighbors, the whatnot. So I, along with everyone else, would like to see Willow Roots continue to thrive and grow and feed the community, but I don't think a dead end road should be trying to support that, because if this continues to grow, we get 25 cars, we get 30 cars. I'm sure everyone can see Carla Terrace just can't support that kind of traffic. We do support Willow Roots, just not the traffic. Thanks so much, everyone.
Michael, you're muted.
Oh, you know what? I was muted, talking into a muted mic. I had one question. The other food pantry you mentioned, where do they do their distribution?
The food pantry at the Methodist Church downstairs. I've done so many food drives for them, unloaded. My gosh, I can't even say how many cans alone when my kids were going to Seymour Smith. So yes, there is a food pantry at the Methodist Church in the basement. Pine Plains Food Locker, it's called.
I was just, anyone else have any questions for Linda?
A comment I know about the food pantry at the Methodist, this is Father Steve.
Oh.
The problem, actually, one of the problems at the Methodist Church is that you have to go downstairs, and actually the food, I think, is brought up by volunteers. As I understand it, at Willow Roots today, it's a drive-in, drive-out, single level, no sort of handicapped acts, no issues of people going up and down stairs or anything like that. So I just.
Thank you, Father. Yes, I was actually, thank you for that insight. We actually, for the questions, it's only for the board members to ask questions. Sorry about that. But thank you for that insight. All right, so if no board members have any questions, we are going to move on to the next person. Ryan Larkin. Oh.
Hello there. Thank you, board, for the time. I'm the pastor of the Presbyterian Church in town, First United, and a supporter of Willow Roots personally, and also come with the endorsement of our leadership council to support Willow Roots in their needs. I have been there on Saturdays as a volunteer. I see how the traffic flows. There's a particular pandemic aspect of it with folks coming through in their cars, but in this case, not a whole lot changes before and after vaccines and with the pandemic, as the efficient way of distribution by Willow Roots has different stations and everybody stays in their car for the most part as they come through. In terms of traffic flow, I can't imagine that there's a better way than the way that I've always seen it. That's coming in from Main Street, getting folks off the road as quickly as you can so that you don't cause a traffic jam on that side, and then leaving out through Carla Terrace at that exit back there. I know that Willow Roots does good work. I have personally never observed any poor driving on behalf of the clients as they enter or exit. I do know Nelson and Lisa a bit now, and know that they would want to protect children and otherwise any pedestrians, any neighbors on Carla Terrace, and would ask something of their clients or even deny them the ability to come through the driveway if they observe any sort of trouble with the way that they were exiting and entering and driving in the area. So it's my hope as a relatively new member of the community and one who gets great benefit in the services of Willow Roots and also the Food Locker in helping our church not duplicate and triple and quadruple work amongst the churches, but we have these two food distribution sites that help us a lot take care of the needs of the community. And I hope that I'm learning this town to be one that even when there's an inconvenience, when there's a need, that folks are willing to take on that inconvenience so that the least among us and the ones in the most need are able to be served. And Willow Roots has a particular ministry. There's no deficiency in what either Willow Roots or the Pine Plains Food Locker do, but they do different things. And so I don't believe that a simple combination of the two would be a solution. And so I'm here mostly to express my thanks to Willow Roots for what they do, give you my testimony as one who's volunteered and witnessed, and encourage you to make it as convenient as possible for those who are serving the ones in need and those who are coming through as ones in need to get all that they need, especially in these extreme times that we're in right now. I will also echo that there is a mobility issue amongst some of those who are served by Willow Roots. And so any sort of talk of moving them to a parking lot and walking down from that would be a burden on some of the clients, a burden on efficiency for an already volunteer and overworked household that's trying to do this ministry. And I also want to conclude by saying that this is not a statement against anything that's been raised on Carla Terrace, that the church and I intend to be servants just as much to the people of Carla Terrace as we are to the volunteers and clients and owners of Willow Roots at charity. But it just occurs to me in the evaluation of things here that the town will hopefully err on the side of making life easiest for those who serve the ones in need. And I thank you for the time.
Thank you. Does any members of the board have any questions? All right, well, thank you very much for coming and for your comments. Wait a minute, what? Vicky, why we have you like connected again or? You're still muted.
No, that's Tori.
Oh, okay.
We both have the same name, but that should say Tori.
Oh, right. I see. I was confused for a second. All right. So, Tori, do you want to make any comments?
Sure. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Thank you for holding this public hearing. I just, very quickly, I just want to, I guess, first and foremost, verify this is a public road we're discussing, correct?
Yes, it is.
That's not an issue. So I guess I sent a letter and I don't think I posed this as a question, but it is a legitimate question. I think when this property, when this land was developed, when this map was made and this map was filed, it could have been a private road. The developers could have chosen to make this a private road that they maintain and that they can control who comes and who goes and how they go, right? Well, you don't have to answer, it doesn't matter. The fact is, in my opinion, it's a public road. And when you look at circumstances like this, I feel strongly you have to look at the entire community, the totality of the circumstances. This is not just a period of time like any other period of time. The poverty is staggering, and as inconvenient or as unhappy it may make some of the residents at Carla Terrace, I feel like they may have to endure it for a little time. We all have to endure to help one another. I feel really strongly about that. And anyway, thank you for hearing me out. I just wanted to show my support for Nelson and Lisa and Willow Roots, not just for what they do, but for their legal right to use their property in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. Does anyone have any questions for Tori, members of the board, that is? Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for your letter, and that'll be entered into the record. All right, it looks like we only have one more person. Is whoever has the phone number 914-204-2613. You're next up. You can come on and state your name. Did they drop or did they go? Whoever that was dropped. So I think that's it. I guess Warren, usually does the applicant talk during this period, or do we finish the public hearing, or does the applicant get a chance during this? You're muted, Warren. You're muted. We couldn't hear you. We still
Warren,
can.
we don't hear you. Stop depriving us of your wisdom.
Okay. Michael, I can hear everybody else. I have trouble hearing you. If you could speak a little louder.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
yeah.
I was leaning back while that was going on.
that's all right.
Does the applicant get to talk during this portion, or do we close it?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that the one thing we haven't heard is from the applicant. I think it's appropriate for the applicant to make a presentation and explain what Willow Roots is and what they're doing there, what their operation is, and the hours that they operate. I'd be interested in knowing whether there are any permits from the Department of Health or the state, either the state or county level. I think it's appropriate to have more information about this on the record. So I think the applicant should make a presentation in that regard.
Okay. So I don't know if Nelson or Patrick, which one of you is going to speak along those lines? Okay, Nelson.
First of all, can you hear me?
Hmm?
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my name is Nelson Zayas, and this is my wife, Lisa Zayas. We're the co-founders of Willow Roots. I wanted to just quickly walk through the timeline. I did submit this in one of the, I believe in the amended application that we sent in. I bought the property in 2003 at 23 North Main Street. In 2004, I submitted an application for a driveway on the property leading to Carla Terrace. You know, that permit was approved. I paid whatever fee had to be paid for that. So I've had that driveway and been using that driveway since 2004. In around 2008, 2009, I made some improvements on the structure, what was the carriage house. And now there's an apartment on the second floor. In 2014, I started a tax business and I applied for a special use permit and was issued a special use permit on the property. In 2019, in June, was when we incorporated and established Willow Roots as a 501c3, being recognized by their IRS. And then in 2020, at the end of 2020, we have this application that's in front of the board for the special use permit for Willow Roots to use to conduct business on the property. Our main mission is, you know, we're a charity, obviously. Our primary focus is to tackle the issue of hunger and food insecurity. And that we started before the pandemic. So that was our focus from the start. It's not the only thing we do. We also network. We had a very successful year in 2020. More than 5,000 meals went out to 193 households. I think it was 550 individuals, unique individuals that we kept track of. There are people that have been employed because of our networking. There are people who are able to get to work because of bicycles that we got them to be able to get to work. We've networked to get people refrigerators, washers, dryers, stoves, all sorts of things. But it seems, you know, based on those that spoke on Carla Terrace, the main issue is the traffic, and that has to do with the distribution that Willow Roots does. We distribute once a week. Right now it's on Saturday from 11 to 12. Our volunteers show up about 10 o'clock to help set up. And we're usually done by 12:15. I think the latest we were done was 12:30. The guests that come in for the pantry, they come in through 23 North Main Street as was described. They get their items and they exit through the driveway that I mentioned that leads out to Carla Terrace. I've never witnessed any issues in terms of reckless driving or anything like that.
We've also had an officer that was stationed at the driveway due to someone taking pictures and being very uncomfortable. We had an officer there, and the officer stated that he did not see any people driving fast or any problems with traffic. He wrote a letter. I believe both the officers wrote letters attesting to what they saw, and they were there weekly for at least 5 to 6 weeks watching the traffic. So these are officers of the court who were testifying that they did not see high traffic or anyone speeding. We started Willow Roots because there was a need. We started Willow Roots because there was a waste of food. We started because the farms needed a place to send their food. That's where we started. We didn't expect this pandemic to happen. We didn't expect to get calls at 11 o'clock at night saying that someone's hungry. Can you bring a box to them? We didn't expect any of that. And I appreciate everyone's support. But we never expected to find people telling me that they don't have food. They have nothing. So we decided to start helping. Now, I understand that there's a food locker there, and I appreciate their support, and we work with them. But it is hard to get down those steps, and they give out distribution once a month. We found it necessary to give out 4 times a month. This is extremely a lot of work for us. We're exhausted, we're tired, but it's necessary. We hope that we don't have to do this one day. We hope that we can put the pantry to rest and let the food locker take over. I would love that. I have a lot of hopes and dreams for Willow Roots, lots of hopes and dreams. But at this time, I have kids that are hungry. At this time, I have elderly people who need us to come and deliver a meal because they can't come out. So Nelson and I, after that food delivery, we go and deliver 12 meals.
12 to 15 households that we deliver to.
That they can't, they're either disabled, handicapped, and we go. So my day on Saturday starts at 7 o'clock in the morning and it ends at 3 o'clock, distributing food to those who can come and those who can't. So I say to you, I am so sorry for inconveniencing everyone, but at this time, I have to do what I have to do. And I will continue to do that in the best way I can. And one day, maybe you don't need us. One day you might not need us, and that'll be fine. We'll be happy to close shop because I would love to have my Saturday back with my husband. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Warren had a question there, Nelson, about the any sort of food related or Department of Health related permits or things that had that you had to get regarding this venture.
No permits were needed for the work we do.
Warren, was there something else?
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Yeah,
So just so we have a complete understanding of what the operation is at this residence. You mentioned food preparation. Do you do food preparation on site?
No, we do not. We get donations from farms, from restaurants, and then we also purchase food ourselves to distribute.
So when you indicated that you provide meals, what could you explain that a little bit further? I can't. You're muted.
Okay. Yeah. We have
the Pine Plains Platter, Stissing House.
Yeah.
And we have places that have, official kitchens that are now doing it since we don't have the time. What started out as one meal given to one person because they lost their disability benefits. That's why we started it, because we were feeding this one person who couldn't eat. That was 3 years ago. We don't have time to do that now. So the restaurants are helping us. And that's where we really need a help from the community.
So you don't do food preparation on site?
No, we do not.
Okay. And how many employees? Do you have employees?
We have 0 employees.
Okay.
How many volunteers come and when do you have volunteers come?
The volunteers start showing up at 10 o'clock in the morning. Maybe 8 to 12 volunteers we're averaging right now.
But these are important because these are the school kids who need to get community service. They're coming because there's no place to get the hours. So we might have a bunch of kids come one week and they fulfill their hours, and another week other kids come. So we're giving them those community hours that they can't get any other place by giving to other people. So it's
So yeah, the number of volunteers is more, but in terms of how many here each time.
yeah, we're very lucky to have very dedicated volunteers.
Are there other days they come besides Saturday?
No.
So I had another question about the food delivery. Somebody mentioned that trucks were providing food delivery through Carla Terrace. Is there any reason why the food delivery can't come off North Main Street instead of Carla Terrace?
I don't know what trucks are being spoken about. I had an RV, which I was actually the reason why I put the permit so I can park the RV, back it in when I first bought the property. And I can guarantee you that we've had no vehicle equal to or larger than that RV on our property in regards to Willow Roots business.
Well, they actually, in response to my question, they said it was not delivery trucks. It was just personal vehicles coming. You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the question was about trucks. So I'm sorry. What's the question?
No, it was just vehicles coming to deliver is what the residents are saying.
Yes, the overwhelming majority of deliveries or anything like that coming through North Main Street now.
You say now, so that you've made that adjustment since this has been coming up?
Since we received that first letter from Drew, correct?
I just have one other question. You mentioned something about 5,000 meals. Could you clarify that? Did you?
I know some pantries, there's a formula that they use converting pounds into meals. I don't have time to do that. So we do keep track of how many children, adults, and senior citizens are in the households who get food, whether we're bringing it to them or whether they come to us. And if there's 5 people in the household, then it goes down as 5. So that 5,000 that's where that number comes from.
And did you contact the Department of Health to determine if you require any permits for operation of a food pantry?
I did in the beginning, and the only thing that was discussed was if I was preparing meals on site, getting like a commercial kitchen or something like that. I don't remember the details.
So you were advised by the Department of Health that you could not prepare meals on site unless you had a permit for that?
Right.
Okay. I'm sure the other board members might have questions. So those are just a few things that I had thought of.
Okay, actually, I had a couple, and then I'll. So, when you started ramping up in June of 2019, you applied for the 50. What is it? 501? You went for 501c3.
The nonprofit status to the IRS, the 501c3.
So that's when you started ramping up operations, when it started becoming more extensive.
Well, I mean, the ramping up really didn't happen until the pandemic in March. So we were just conducting, the pantry and the charitable work that we do.
And is that the time when you contacted the Department of Health?
Yeah, I would imagine it would be in 2019.
2009. How come you didn't apply for this permit at that time?
I did not understand the process of all this. In my mind was the process that went through with the tax business and the classification of major versus minor. And I thought it was having to do with because back then with the tax business, if I wanted to sign, and I think that's what made it a major business. So I was just unclear on the zoning and stuff. And when all this came about, I think it was in September, that's when it became clear that, you know, we had to go through this process.
And we never,
What was that?
you know, and we just never, it was started off on our front porch, just getting free vegetables from farms that were, you know, good vegetables that people don't have access to. And we literally were on our front deck, just giving fresh vegetables away. That's how it started. It was such a simple, organic thing. And then slowly and very, you know, surely we moved to the garage. And then we felt obligated because people were donating that we wanted to tell them, like, you know, okay, guess what? Your farm fed 20 people, you know? We felt obligated to make sure that we kept numbers. And again, it was a very organic thing. And then more people would say, hey, we like what you're doing. And again, we just kept our transparency and honesty is what I guess started to build. Then comes the pandemic, and we were just 20 people, 21 families, very small. Some were getting deliveries, not a lot. The core families were getting it, as we call them, the ones that can't come out of their house. And we had 10 cars come in. Well, the pandemic came, and what did we see? We started to see 30, 40, and it was a little bit more. But we were still making deliveries. We were still getting food out to people who couldn't make it. We didn't expect to even go this far. It just was organic.
I have a question about what sacred ways?
Sacred Ways is my church. It's a church that believes that everyone is equal. There's no discrimination and no judgment. You come to us and that's it. It's just a really general church.
So is that another entity that's doing?
Belief. It's not that.
It's not a business or entity.
No. It's where anyone can come to feel like they're welcome.
I have, do you put anyone out on Main Street or on Carla Terrace directing traffic or et cetera on these distribution days?
We do.
The 2 busy days are when we distribute the turkeys for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I believe one of those 2 distribution days, there was a police officer on North Main Street, and I was there for the other one.
Okay, but on the normal Saturday, you don't have someone making sure the cars tuck in that are waiting, that are lined up?
No. This week we had we had 12 cars come this weekend.
Yeah.
It's really, it's been quiet. We're making a lot more deliveries now.
But no, we don't typically direct traffic on the Saturdays.
How about the porches and all that? Is there any storage going on porches or outside the garage or any other place on the property besides the garage?
We have the walk-in cooler in the basement and the 2 small, actually one is not working, it's just 1 small refrigerator on the front porch.
That we have free eggs for. If anyone wants eggs, there's eggs in there for people.
And no other parts of it are stored anywhere else?
No, just the garage.
I have one more question. In one of the letters, something was mentioned, I guess there was somewhat of a confrontation at some day. And I guess it would be Lisa you were reported to have responded to Ms. Jameson, that we have 3 members on the board and we'll do what we want. And I would like to have that comment, you know, what was the nature of that and what happened with that?
That's absolutely not true. I didn't even know that my friend Tori's mom was on the board. I didn't even know that. And I never said something like that. That would be actually crazy. I didn't even know Kate. And I worked for her family was on the board until after all of this. Then I found out. So I didn't know. I really didn't.
Now, okay, so, all right, well, so do you have a board of directors of the organization?
Yes, we do.
And who is on that?
Myself, Lisa, Brett McCormick. So Lisa is the president. Brett McCormick is the vice president. Aniva Garcia is our secretary. I'm the treasurer. Chris Hedges is a board member, and Diana Moore is a board member.
Okay. That's all I have. Does any other members have any questions? I guess we'll try to go one at a time. If Dick's got to.
Yeah, just our zoning law has restrictions on how a major home occupation, how much space it takes up in your home, and your tax business was in your outbuilding and now it's in your house. And between the tax business and the Willow Roots operation, how much of your residence is occupied by those functions?
Looking for the number, I believe it was 610 square feet.
Out of a total of?
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, I don't have that in front of me, but I believe it's a little under 2,200 square feet.
Okay, thank you.
But is that including the accessory structure?
These
The law doesn't combine the two. The accessory structure.
Well, that's a question we have, Warren. If you read the statute, as far as what does it say as far as, because it says 30% of the residents, but then it says accessory structure may be used if it was in place at the time of the zoning. So did that get included in the 30%, or is it not? Is it separate? You're muted, Warren. You're muted, Warren. Still muted.
Got it. Okay. So you're talking about the supplementary regulations. So what they say is for major home occupations, no more than 30% of the total floor area, heated habitable space of the dwelling unit may be used for the conduct of the home occupation. And what's your question?
So what he uses of the accessory structure doesn't go into that calculation, is my question.
It seems to me that the intent was that the home occupation be operated pretty much wholly within the residence, not or if it's an accessory structure, it can be operated in an accessory structure, and no more than 30% of either of those two structures that are used for the home occupation can be used for the home occupation. This is a little bit of a different situation because a lot of what goes on there is outside of the residences.
You mean the lining up of the food and the lining up of the people and giving out of the food? You're saying that occurs on the property outside.
That's unusual for home. A typical home operation, home occupation is is like a tax business or a doctor or an attorney that where they operate or a seamstress or someone else who operates a business within their home. And then there are these restrictions on how much of that home or the accessory dwelling, wherever it's located, can be used. This is a little bit different.
Mm.
And Warren, that's my question. The zoning law doesn't, a lot of other zoning laws limited to a professional. Ours doesn't really say what it is. Does this qualify as a home occupation?
No, we don't have that type of restriction on our zoning law. What our zoning law says and this is a major home occupation, it's not a minor home occupation. It says exactly this: any non-residential use conducted wholly or partly in a dwelling unit or in an accessory structure thereto by the owner of the same, which is clearly incidental to the use of the dwelling for living purposes and does not change the residential character of the dwelling unit or vicinity or have any no exterior evidence of such secondary use other than a sign and where customers, clients, or sales representatives enter the premises and in which one, not more than 3 residents are employed. That's the definition. The board has to decide whether this use fits within that definition.
Dick, do you have anything further or?
Nope.
Okay, anyone else on the board? No. I just see something. Did we hear Pastor Ryan? Did I miss that? I can't remember. I don't have that person written down. Did you want to speak or are you just observing?
He just spoke already.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Am I wrong, folks?
Oh, he spoke.
Oh, he did.
I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed writing it down. I apologize. All right. So at this point, everyone has spoken who wishes. So I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public hearing with the proviso that we will leave the written record open for the next 10 days.
Excuse me. Are we able to speak one more time at all? If that's possible?
You already went through your time. What did you have a question or what was it you're looking?
No, we just had a statement that, hopefully that, they're going to comply with all the zoning laws and what Warren just said.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, you had your turn.
Okay. So what do we have? 4 minutes?
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. I think the Zeiss said much more than that, but that's okay.
But there. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I wish the board would have something to say.
Oh, thank you. If we,
Yep.
let's mute your mic, please.
Thank you. Yep.
What was I saying now? Oh, yes. I need to have a motion to close the public hearing with the one caveat being we will hold open the written record for the next 10 days. For anyone who wants to send in comments or extend the comments that they made here tonight. Can I have a motion to that effect?
I so move on the conditions that you set out, Michael.
Second.
Thank you. Sorry. Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let it be shown that the motion carried unanimously and that public hearing is now closed. I thank the members of the public that came out here tonight and all the people that sent letters to this about this application. We'll leave them here for a minute because I just want to handle one other thing regarding this application. But Tricia, once we're done talking about Willow Roots, we'll kick anyone left. Everyone, obviously, you can go look at it on YouTube as all our meetings. So once we're done with this public hearing, if you want to keep watching, you can see on YouTube as well as watch a replay. I wanted to go just address the recusal / conflict of interest point that was brought up. If Warren, first of all, can you just refresh the public, you let the public know and refresh the board's memory as to what constitutes conflict of interest and when a member should recuse themselves?
Well, it'll be easier for me to, if you explain to me who the member is and what the perceived conflict is.
Well, I guess Kate, what is you volunteer at the, why did they bring up your name? We'll start with Kate and then.
Who brought up my name?
Lisa brought you up when I.
Oh, tonight, because she takes care of my aunt and uncle
Okay.
during the day.
All right. And Dick, you were concerned because Dick said he had made some, I gotta take it with a small
Willow
donation. Go ahead.
Yeah, I made a donation to Willow Roots. Is that something that should make me recuse myself?
I mean, I think living in a small town, we've all have some connection.
I've certainly.
My daughter volunteers there on the weekends. We obviously all know Nelson and Lisa from town or school, so I don't,
Right. I mean, obviously in this small town, like every application we'd have to recuse if like, oh, I shopped at this store, or I went to look at the Stissing Center. We went to a concert at the Stissing Center. Vicky, I take it Lisa has a personal relationship with Tori. I take it wouldn't affect your viewing of this application.
No, didn't we go through this on a couple of other things? And Warren, didn't you say because it's a small town and that it shouldn't really, unless there was a really problem, that we would have to recluse ourselves? I mean, I donate there. Tori's, I mean, I don't know. He's a teacher. She's, takes care of people. I don't see why these people think that we should all recluse ourselves.
Well, I don't think those do not come under the statutory criteria for requiring recusal. Usually it's a pecuniary interest in the application. Sometimes if you live right next door to the project, it really would militate in favor of recusal. But recusal is a decision that the individual board members have to make. If they feel that whatever relationship or knowledge they have with regard to this food pantry would in any way interfere with their ability to make a fair and reasoned and impartial decision, then they should recuse themselves. If they feel, notwithstanding the fact that they have some interest or knowledge or personal relationship with the applicant or the food pantry, that would interfere with their ability to make a fair and reasoned and impartial decision, they really should recuse themselves. So it's an individual decision, but there's no automatic recusal in any of these cases. I shouldn't say recusal, it's really a disqualification that would disqualify.
I personally feel like I've been involved with his applications, years ago. I'm familiar with it. We've discussed it for the last 4 months. I just want to let the public know, it's not that we're not asking questions. We've read everyone's letters and comments, and we've discussed this many, many times before. So, and then I also feel like there's a code that we have to follow. It's not like we're just going to make a decision as a group, that we're following our zoning law, and so That's my feeling. I don't feel like I need to recuse myself for those reasons.
And just to be clear, I didn't bring this up because I thought any of you needed to recuse yourself. I just want the public to be educated on.
Well, it was mentioned in a couple of letters
That's correct.
that
That's
they
why I wanted it to-
thought that we should
Now-
we should recluse ourselves. But we'd have to do that for how many things in this town? When things come up about the firehouse or the whatever. I mean, and I probably shouldn't have used the firehouse, but all the properties that went on up on Schultz Hill, you know, I don't know. I think that was.
Yeah, I don't think any of these arise to the level of creating a conflict of interest. And obviously, if the members, as Warren said, are comfortable and feel that they can decide this impartially, then we're good to go. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about on this application tonight? Obviously, we're going to digest what everyone said here tonight, look at any further letters or the letters that have already come in, et cetera, et cetera. And then, next month we will, look to form what ideas about what we want to do about the application.
One thing maybe I give the board a little bit of homework between now and the next meeting. I think it's a good idea for them to review the definition of home occupation in our code, review the subsection F of our supplementary regulations, and also take a look at section 275-55 subsection B of the code with regard to the criteria for granting a special use permit approval, and make your own evaluation as to whether the application meets those criteria, and you can discuss it further at the next town board meeting when you make your actual decision.
Did you say town board meeting?
I'm sorry, planning board.
See, the town board comes with a salary, so there's a difference there.
Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock, so it's been a long day.
Tell me about it. I have, you know what, I have forgot but I mean, this is in the record as far as a letter that we received. And this is, I just wanted to read the police letter from our police commissioner, which is Dara, where she received a report. She sent us a memo and received a report from, I guess somebody mentioned it during one of the presentations there, that John Hughes. Okay, so just a note to pass on John Hughes's assessment of traffic flow on Willow Roots Food Pantry on the Saturdays when he was on duty there. All went smoothly. There was no congestion, no accidents or problems. This is also the experience of Officer Lawson on the days he was on duty there. Very quiet. I'm acting only in my capacity as police commissioner and passing on this information to you. Thank you very much, Derek Cloud. And, again, I also went down there on a Saturday and observed the operation. And it was as they described it. It was fairly, it was not rushed. It was very, a lot of time between cars, and one car would just leave, and then there would be a while, and then another car would leave. So they obviously, after a while of sitting there, which is actually, that was from I had talked to Dara about it, and we thought maybe it would be a good idea to have someone down there just to see how things are and to make sure things were calm. There was no confrontations. And then eventually they discontinued it because they were wasting their time basically sitting there. So they didn't see any problems. Anyway, okay, so thank you very much everyone who came for this application, and we now move on to the Birch application for a subdivision. If Mr. Birch, and then Tricia, do you have that map ready to go when I ask for it? So if Mr. Birch, can you please describe the application and then just a little bit of the history of this application from 2012?
Yeah, this is, it was a application for a subdivision that was approved by the board, and I never really went through and completed it. It's a small house on a large piece of land, and we had done a 3-lot subdivision. But the market wasn't very good. Market's changed, and I have somebody that's interested in purchasing the house with the additional 3-acre lot. So instead of a 3-lot subdivision, I really just need a 2-lot subdivision. And I was hoping that I could use the existing driveway. Originally, when I had the 3-lot subdivision, the highway department wanted me to create a new driveway because of the 3 lots. And I was hoping to just move forward with a 2-lot subdivision using the current driveway. So the question is, how do I proceed from here?
All right, so first of all, Warren, on the fact that this application was approved for a 3-lot subdivision, and then Mr. Burt's correct, you never followed through on following the maps or anything like that.
Right.
So Warren, he has to redo it, correct? Warren?
I'm sorry,
You froze.
the connection is very unstable, so sometimes the screen is free.
Yeah, we don't.
Has expired according. Can you hear me?
You broke up there for a bit. You're back now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, why it's unstable. Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay. The subdivision approval that was granted back then and has expired. So a new application is going to have to be made, and a map showing a 2-lot rather than a 3-lot subdivision should be submitted to the planning board. It can be dealt with as a minor subdivision. The 3-lot subdivision had a shared driveway. I don't know whether you're going to continue to have a shared driveway, but if you do, we're going to want to see a driveway maintenance agreement for the 2 lots. And I think it has to be submitted to our engineer for his review.
And I wasn't clear whether you said, Mr. Birch, that the highway department had disapproved or didn't like the idea of a shared driveway. And obviously
they liked the shared driveway, but they thought that because there were 3 lots using the same driveway, they wanted to move the driveway instead of using the existing driveway. And
so with any new application, you would have to get their opinion all over again about what you're planning to do under the new application. Is that correct? Warren? Warren
Yes,
is nodding.
yeah, that's correct. And you'll have to get a driveway permit from the, I think the first thing to do is to get your surveyor to prepare a 2-lot subdivision and show us how what your access is, what the driveways are, and consult with the highway superintendent about a driveway permit. And again, the engineer should review the application.
Warren, that's a county road there, correct?
What does it say? Yes, so we have to go to the county Department of Public Works.
Last time. Yeah. Okay, so I've got to go back to them and then come back to you guys.
And
I mean, we can handle.
The Department of Health and Ray, like, how are we going to determine where the septic location is okay or not?
I leave that up to Ray. He's the one who reviews that and makes the determination as what's needed. So the best thing is to come in with a preliminary. What were you, David, what were you doing? You're going to eliminate parcel 2, or what were you planning on doing?
The extra 3-acre parcel, right?
Oh, so that would be combined with parcel 2?
Correct. So it would be a 6-acre parcel and then the balance.
And the 14-acre. Yeah, that's going to look better.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to come in with a new map for that, unfortunately. Right. And And then Ray would review it. You'd have to get the driveway permit and
Ray-
whatever other requirements Ray sees,
Raise,
the town engineer.
oh, but I got to go to the county highway department anyway.
Yeah, well, once you plan your 2-lot subdivision and show where your entrance is, then you probably should start the permit process with the Department of Public Works. I don't know how long they take for that.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can handle it as a minor, once you get all that together and get the map in, then it's just a minor subdivision. We don't even need a public hearing.
Okay. Thanks very much.
We'll need an escrow if we're going to involve Ray.
I don't know, about $20,000. No, I think probably, usually Ray and I, $1,500 for both. If it's not used, it'll be returned to the applicant. I don't know how much time Ray will spend. If I have to approve a driveway maintenance agreement, that'll take a little bit of time. But I think that's sufficient for now, the $1,500 escrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right.
Okay, good seeing you, Dave.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks, bye.
All right. Okay, I think Warren, I think you can. I think we're done.
I think we're done. I wanted to say one other thing about the other application.
Sure.
That if you grant the home occupation application, I just want you to be aware that you can impose conditions on that approval. So the board should be considering what type of conditions, if they're going to approve this, they would impose to mitigate some of the issues that have been raised by the neighbors. So something you should think about.
I agree. But we also, I want to be, we got to really think about that and be careful about it. As we saw with the previous application, the unintended consequences down the line, so
Absolutely.
We're going to be careful when we come up with those conditions.
Right. Okay, I'll sign off. Good seeing
Yes,
you all. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Warren. You too. Next up is the approval of the December minutes. Did everyone get a chance to go over the December minutes? I believe, I don't remember seeing any corrections. Were there, Tricia? No.
Nope, I didn't get any.
Well, that's because Jane's not on the board anymore.
Jane would definitely
You
be
can
on
still
right on.
send them in.
But
I don't know if did she get the minutes? Did somebody send her the minutes? Or
No.
somebody should just ask her to proofread them.
I think that's really what she wants to avoid.
Oh. Can
I
imagine.
move we
Can I
approve
have
the
a
minutes, December minutes.
Second,
Second.
all in favor
Aye.
Aye.
and all opposed? Let it show that the December minutes passed unanimously. Let's see, I have one thing, just as far as education, I got some links from the Planning Federation I'm going to send out to everyone. From the State Planning Federation, there's just videos, like Zoom videos that you can watch, and then they have certificates for you once you watch the video. And then, one of them is on solar installations, which, is kind of interesting. Can't remember what the other ones were. I sent one to Ethan actually, because it's the basic course that we all usually take, and Frank Fish is the one that teaches it. So that'll go on to you guys. Just keep an eye out, get our, however we can get these education credits in for the year. Keep your eye out for opportunities to do it. I want to thank everyone for coming back for another year of hard, a lot of work, and hopefully the public tonight gets to see how intricate this is and how much work we all put into this sort of thing, and attention and reading, etc.
All for free.
Peter, I'm going to double your salary this year. Consider you're on the main board now.
I had a question, Michael. I drive by the logging operation on the Durst property west of, on the west side of town.
Okay.
And is there any provision in the law where their logging is inspected when they're finished? Because they've been working, they've been taking a lot of stuff out of there. Not that they're, I don't know how big their proposal was, but I forget, but it just seems like it's been going on for quite a while, and I don't know what they're, I can't really drive up there without some kind of.
Drew, do you have any, what happens with those forestry plans? We approved that. I remember, we did that.
Yeah, I mean, we approve it. We also get a copy of the contract, which states the board footage that's taken out of the project. So, I mean, I've always thought that's kind of our control over it. It's an agreement, contractual agreement with the customer to take X number of board feet. I can't imagine the logger is going to be able to just keep taking lumber above and beyond that.
You mean that
Sure, that never happens.
the contract between the logger and the customer limits the board feet?
Correct.
So it's between the two of them to enforce it. There's no legal limits
Well,
from our point.
I mean, you would think from a financial sense it would be enforced in that way.
I understand that. Yeah. In other words, we obviously are not inspecting every load that goes out of there and measuring it. So
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know how to do that.
I wouldn't either.
Wasn't that through the state? Wasn't that through the forestry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Well, they provide a plan and the state DEP just approves the plan, right? Do they actually, Drew, they actually come out and look at the?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
like
I mean,
a
they
10-year
do some
plan. I
unit
mean,
checking.
I thought there was a whole like permitting system and everything through them.
Well, it's for their tax exemption. That's what that state part of it is. So there is a forest management plan, but how closely that's monitored once it's submitted, I don't really know.
Okay.
There's your answer, Dick. But it's not
Hopefully
much of
they'll wrap it up soon, and I'll stop worrying.
And that was, they had that entrance onto 199 as part of the plan, right, Drew? That was
Yes.
on there?
Yes.
All right. Anyone else have any questions or issues? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn the December meeting?
So moved, adjourn.
Second by Steve, or all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The January meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for sticking it out this long, and as always, your hard work. Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
for yours,
Good
Michael.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.